My role is actually the CEO of the Hands of Rescue Foundation, which is a little foundation I formed about 6 years ago now to deal with reducing maternal deaths in Papua New Guinea. I run it with my wife, Keela. There's only two of us here in Papua New Guinea, and we have a team in Australia, of course, who keep a little bit of food on the table for us and our aircraft flying. Our day-to-day work involves going out to rural remote health centres and rolling out our Safe Motherhood program, and also bringing back high-risk mothers, in other words, those mothers who we think may have difficulty giving birth in a centre, remote centre. So we bring them back into Alatal for a safe delivery in Alatal Hospital. Yeah, and we just restock these health centres with our gift, which I just happen to have one here. These gifts, which we give the mothers when they come down to have a supervised delivery. So that in itself saves lives. Plus, we have a HF radio behind me here, where we receive calls from remote health centres when they have a mother in trouble and they need to get them out quickly. Then we have the Beaver here which is an amphibian, so we go out and pick them up either on the water or on the remote airstrip and bring them back. So the day can be any one of those things. I got to say, it's not work. This is just pure joy. We just love what we do, and we just keep it going for as long as we can. When I left school, I'd never dreamed that I would end up doing this. I'm a carpenter by trade. I wasn't a very good academic. I failed high school, and I resisted actually joining the medical field to start with. I thought it'd be impossible for a person like me to become a doctor, and then even further down that field, once becoming a doctor, even impossible to do what I'm doing now. But it took exposure to how other people are living outside of Australia in countries like Papua New Guinea, which meant I had to be in a place for a long time for that to wash over me and sort of dilute the past and see what's happening in front of me now, and to open your eyes and see the suffering that was going on around me. And I'm talking now about women in particular. And the thoughts of medicine came over a couple of years while I was in this culture as a project manager. But then I started getting these thoughts of, doing medicine, and I thought, am I suffering some sort of thoughts of, going out there and wanting to save the world in some crazy notion. And thought, no, this is crazy. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. And it took a long while to finally listen to the inner voice and said, no, Barry, I want you to do this. And it was a bit like an annoying fly. I keep saying, like the flies we got here, with all the palm oil around. But it took a long time, and then finally I just gave in to the thought of becoming a doctor, and then I just let it be, and the doors just opened for me once I did that. Having to do a pre-medical degree in Australia, then coming back up here and doing the degree here, that took 12 years to do all that. So it hasn't always been my goal, but once I decided, the drive was there, the passion was there. I knew what I was doing this for. And I know a lot of kids when they're at school, they don't really know what they want to do, which was like me when I started out. So, but you just learn to trust those inner voices as you get older, and that's what happened to me. Maternal deaths, we mean a death while a mother's pregnant and weeks after she's had the baby. So if she dies in that period, we call it she died from a maternal having that baby. She gave up her life to give life, in other words. And women do that quite freely up here. In Australia, if a woman dies from childbirth, heaven forbid it, I think it's 1 in 10,000. everyone in that country in Australia knows about it the next morning. It's all over the papers, over the TVs, and it's a horrible thing. And it's a horrible thing anywhere. In Papua New Guinea, it can be as high as 1 in 30. It's very tough for women, and every time they have a baby, they risk their lives. So having a baby in this country is quite risky. I mean, if men could realize that women actually are very, very brave, a lot braver than men, and they risk their life every time giving birth, they would, I'm sure, we would, if it just sunk in, you know, the world would be a better place if we treated everyone equally. The maternal health problem is a huge problem, you know, in the tropical belt around the world, if you like. So for us to expand, of course, we need financial assistance from Australia. We also need practical items to put in our dishes here, like, you know, these, for instance, this beautiful blanket, you know, is made by women in Tin Can Bay. And we get a box of those up, and we give those out to mothers out there who absolutely have nothing. But I think, you know, just knowing that people down there appreciate this sort of work, and perhaps they can get into this sort of work themselves. Perhaps we can show people that, you know, this is what you can do with your skills in another place and help make that difference.